Wilson County Commissioners Court, Monday, March 25th, 2013, session. Please. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the many ways you bless us. We ask you continue to be with us and guide and direct us. We ask special blessings this morning on Charlie Kidd, his family, and co-workers. Also, Mr. Richter from Lavernia, and all those others across the county and the state, nation, and lost loved ones. We ask you guide and direct us in all we do. Always in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Didn't forget you, I just hadn't got the sheet yet.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Mr. Wyatt, you signed up for a public comment, but you're on the agenda.
You're on the agenda.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you want to just wait till you're...
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
These two, please. County Judges Commissioners Association of Texas Commissioners Education Certificate of Completion. This is certified at Albert Commons. Wilson County Commissioner has successfully completed the continuing education provision of Article 81.0025 of Texas Local Government Code 2012. Signed by Roger Harmon. And County Judges Commissioners Association of Texas Commissioners Education Certificate of Completion. This is certified as Aaron Wiley, Wilson County Commissioner, has successfully completed continuing education provision Article 81.0025 of the Texas Local Government Code 2012. Congratulations, both of them. Item 4, approve bond for Lisa Everhart. Motion, Mr. Downer, Mr. Wise, all in favor? Public hearing, item 5, we'll save that until later. Item 6, Edwin Baker, Wilson County Fire Marshal, discuss and approve this in the fire ban.
Judge, as you requested last time, it's put back on there, but obviously it's put back on there the way it was on there the last time. I want to get with them and make sure they word it properly. I've talked to the county attorney, and for right now, we need to take no action on that until we can get the agenda item worded properly. We haven't had any problems, but, you know, that could be around the corner.
As far as, Mr. Gibbs, if you do any reporting, Mr. Gibbs, if you do any reporting on the fire ban, appreciate it. You could include in there that it's important that although the fire ban is lifted at the time, that people's still liable for any damage that might be caused by their neglect. Appreciate it very much.
I can't do anything. I will make sure next time that when I go in, I'll fill out the deal right.
Item 7, Larry Wiley, Commissioner Precinct 4, requested by Peterbilt Dust Truck for Precinct 4 on buy board. Motion. Wiley, second. Morales, all in favor? Item 8, Dana J. Falwell, County Attorney, consider and take action on mass gathering permitting fees.
I gave each of you a copy of an application for mass gathering. Edwin had contacted me, and we are having an increase in gatherings out in the county for different events. The statute has actually been on the books since 1989, and it does carry with it actually criminal penalties for violating it. So we decided that it might be best for these coming up to get an application put together that follows the statute. The statute actually requires that the application be filed with the county judge 45 days prior to the event, at which point the county judge would disseminate that application to the sheriff, the fire marshal, and health and safety to do inspections and make recommendations on whether or not to grant a permit, and then a public hearing would be held. I did visit with the judge, and he requested that that hearing actually come before the commissioner's court as the hearing body on the permits. Additionally, the statute allows for a surcharge or a fee to be assessed because of the expense of the county in investigating and permitting these. So Edwin and I had discussed it, and we thought a good starting place would be 300. That seems to be pretty much the norm, but
That's for the basic permit.
that's the basic permit fee that would be filed at the time of application. I did put a cover with that, the best application that I saw actually came out of Hays County, so I kind of borrowed some of their language. But it would also give them notice that if there's extensive investigation that has to be required, that fee will go up.
The question I had when I read that this morning is who determines if the fee goes up and to what amount?
It would be part of the public hearing on the 10th, based on the recommendation of the fire marshal, the sheriff, and health and safety. And if they've had to do extra work, then that would be part of the public hearing. That would be held at least 10 days prior to the event.
Would you define for the public and the court what constitutes a mass gathering?
A mass gathering is any gathering of people outside the limits of a municipality that attracts more than 2,500 people, or 500 people if more than half of those are expected to be under 21 and alcohol is going to be at the event. So if alcohol served, it drops that number down to 500 if they're expecting young people. So that's what causes it to apply. There are exceptions within the statute for things like football games and those type of events that are actually set in a specific setting for that event. This is more of, well, the next agenda item, like the 5K mud runs and the mud fest that we have and those type of events. That drawing quite a bit of people. Just that y'all set a fee on it, Judge. Just for you to set a fee so we can post the application.
Always amended anytime.
Y'all feel like that cover your cost?
The general consensus that I found in researching counties, most counties, in all honesty, do not have one of these applications on their website. They don't have it posted, just because it's an operation of state law. It's not actually an operation of the county. It's a service that we can give to those wanting to put on events to actually have it lined out, so they're always in compliance with the statute. But it does require that. So basic, I think the 300 is covered, and I kind of did a rough numbers on it.
Motion, and we, let's be 300 seconds. Commissioner Wiley, all in favor? Thank you, Dana.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Item 9, Dana Paul and Edwin Baker request to host a 5K phone test.
Edwin and I kind of looked at each other this morning. We spoke with Ariel, with Roundhouse Racing, who's putting on the Mud Fest. And I suggested that she get on the agenda. I'm assuming that Edwin backed me up on that, that he is on the agenda as well. But we suggested that she actually get this item on the agenda for, to show, compliance with the statute to the court, since it's in short order. Their event is set for the 6th. Is
So
she
are
here?
you and Edwin gonna run in this thing?
Yeah, we could charge admission for that alone.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if she is here this morning.
And what is this and where's it gonna be held?
It's actually a mud run, and it's gonna be at Cycle Ranch. And, she did send me some information, I don't see, I her here this morning, so I will give you some basic information. They've set up the.
How many people they expect, and when does our, mass gathering take effect?
The mass gathering permit is actually an operation of state law, so that has been in effect since 1989. And she did submit, this information, and I had asked that she be here this morning to answer your questions. So I'm not sure where she's at.
Well, I think this is adopted March 25th, mass gathering, so we probably won't hold her to that on this, because we'll put the application in prior to it.
But it looks like that they have made every effort to comply with the statute as far as what they have to have in place. But she's not here to answer your questions, so.
And I have one question, Judge, on the deal, if I understand it's supposed to be like 10,000 people.
Well, can I
Go ahead.
talk to that? We were told there could be as many as 10,000 there. They were talking about for the full weekend. Then the numbers started falling when I started asking them about, started talking to Dana about this, and we called them back, and the numbers started dropping down to 3,000 for one day, and possibly 1,500 for another. I don't know if there's gonna be alcohol served at this.
There is.
There is, okay.
Yeah, based on the, one of the things that she sent, it's Chelsea's Catering, Beer and Food Sales. So there is going to be one food vendor that carries beer. The number she gave me was 3,500 on Saturday, and so far they've only had 35 for Saturday, 3,500 Saturday. 32 is all they've registered for Sunday, but they are still expecting probably around 1,000 on Sunday.
It is my concern, what are they gonna do for parking to that many people?
And,
You know, I don't want the county road blocked.
I was
Hopefully they'll be parking on property, because they'll be doing this run at Cycle Ranch, so they, hopefully they'll be parking on property. They told me that this is not really a spectators event, it's more of a participant and family and friends type deal.
And I know they've been calling the neighbors trying to lease the property for parking, and nobody wants to give them.
Yeah. For
That's
this
a
event.
diagram, Commissioner, kind of where they've got a parking area, it looks like in a field adjacent to them.
He won't give it to them. They tried to, but he refused to,
Oh, did he?
so that's not gonna happen there.
So, I know as far as, any action to be taken on it without her present, I don't guess there's really action that can be taken to answer your question.
What's the date of this event again?
April the 6th, which is why I asked her to come today, because this is the last commissioners for the meeting part to be in.
I believe when she called the office and put it on the agenda, she wanted y'all to speak in her behalf. It was the only thing that I remember her saying verbally. And she specifically asked that y'all's name be put on her phone sheet. I'm
You
trying to
wanna-
find the little.
You wanna go ahead and vote on it and pass it, providing that the parking is contained within the premises?
Have they
And
contacted
they
the
may
sheriff?
spill over, but it'd be a violation.
Any of your people gonna work?
You know, it doesn't matter to me if y'all wanna do that.
You know how to get hold of her? Maybe we can go talk to her about parking.
Yeah.
Commissioner, if y'all want to hold on, that's a set of emails between her and I with the diagrams, you're welcome to.
Paul, I
do
was
that.
gonna suggest that we get her to go ahead and fill out that application and get all the information we can from her.
It's on there, I had her send me an email
Okay.
containing everything that was in the
And we can
statute.
go over it before we do that.
Okay.
And I'll give you a phone.
Let's go, to, give Commissioner File authority to deal with this and to grant whatever he deems necessary. Would that be all right with you?
That's fine.
Motion, Commissioner Gomez, second, Commissioner Morales, all in favor?
We have her name, person who I spoke to.
And it's right there on the bottom.
Item 10, Terry Wolf, Secretary ESD number 3. A, follow up on request of funds, and B, request to have county auditor audit books of ESD number 3.
just here to follow up, 'cause it's been a month since we were here last about funding.
I have, Judge, and I actually have called a couple of other research attorneys to help me research it out. And none of us have been able to find statutory authority to actually issue a loan. We found, some AG opinions and a couple of cases that actually would lean towards prohibiting it. Nothing directly on point with an ESD, but with other political subdivisions that would say, no, the county can't loan money. The only other way around that would be, the county can always contract with other political subdivisions, and through a contract, for a political purpose or a public purpose. So a legitimate public purpose, we can contract for that. But to like, issue a loan or to be a surety on a loan, there's no statutory authority for us to go forward with that.
We own how much do we designate to Stockdale EMS on a yearly?
25, I think it was, which we've already given.
We've already given. How would that work for a contract?
I mean, it has to be, it would be a contract for services for a legitimate public purpose. So that's really how that would play out. We would have to contract for a service.
When do we anticipate that they'll be drawing taxes?
October, I would imagine.
This October? Why don't, I know the city came through with some of it, and, if we run into a roadblock before you start drawing the taxes, come back and we'll look at doing a contract for those services until that they're able to get it.
How much is what they were looking at? About
10,000.
Yeah.
That sound,
Sounds fine with me. I mean, it's a contingent at this point, in case the funds from Stockdale are not sufficient to take you through until you start receiving.
And the other thing that is in particular with ESDs in the health and safety code, there's a stated prohibition against indebtedness outside of bonds. So that would be the only way to actually protect the ESD as well, is to contract for services for political.
well, we tried to look at everything in the most favorable way to get it done. And we appreciate all of you and the work that you're doing. So basically what we're saying is, just don't let it get in the way. That if you get close to expending the funds from Stockdale, come back, and if necessary, we'll look at contracting your services to carry on that duty until we get there. We appreciate it very much.
So we have item B.
Item B is request for county auditor audit books for the FDNC.
When is y'all's year end? Is it September 30th?
We haven't set one yet because we are just now starting to get funding so we can start going ahead, but it does say in this thing that an audit has to be done yearly. So we wanted to get on the agenda to bring it, so that way we have the stuff to do whenever you need it.
So you're looking to do an audit for your year end, but you don't know what your year end is yet? Most of them are September 30th, but on the other ESPs that I've seen. Is that what?
September 30th.
Okay. Yes, sir.
ESD number one, first year, the county auditor had to write a letter saying because they didn't receive any funds, therefore there is nothing to audit. And that takes care of what they're asking for this year. Now,
Well,
for next year, be
I was
different.
gonna say, since y'all have no revenue, so to speak, before the beginning of October, I know that on some of those little water districts, there was a stipulation in there of how much funds, how much your revenue was before you were required to have an audit. So I think that if you don't have any funds before September 30th, like everyone was saying, I'm not sure you're required to have an audit. You may wanna have a compilation report. Now, in me doing an audit, I don't do independent financial audits any longer. Last one I did was the appraisal districts. So in order to do that, I would have to get my education brought up to date and all this other stuff.
My understanding is through the rules of being a county, being Wilson County ESD, that instead of us going outside and paying for outside audits, we can bring it to the county auditor to do the audits for us going forward.
I'm not sure that I can do that. But, I mean, I'll look into it, but I know the other ESD has an outside auditor do it, because it is a governmental independent financial audit. And in order to do that, I have to be subject to certain peer reviews and, so it would probably be a little inefficient. So it costs the county quite a bit of money to do that. And like this year, and then next year, of course, when we'll have funds, the contract with an outside auditor to do that, I would imagine.
So can we get a letter from them this year? I don't know,
We're
waiver.
gonna have a lawyer and we'll ask them to do that.
Item 11, Albert Gomez, Commissioner Precinct Number 1. A, accept bid for disaster relief grant 712157 for materials and hauling Precinct 1.
Got a couple of bids, Judge, for that grant for hauling material and material. First one is for Martin Marietta, which is, for material and hauling is $352. And for, C-Max, aggregated hauling and material, all combined is $354. And I got Bromtex, also material is $434 for material. And then I got Independent Trucking, which I added up, for hauling is $344, plus material is $96, it comes out to $440 for C Trucking. And for Heath Ort, the hauling is $331 plus 96 for material is $427. And for Rafter P Transportation, hauling is $357 hauling and 96 for material, comes out to $453, and that's per load. So I'll go with the lowest bid, and it's gonna be a Martin Marietta material, $353, and I'll give you all this.
Motion, Commissioner Gomez, second. Commissioner Fowle, all in favor? Got a bid, go out for closed bid on 1967 trailer and a 1990 Kenworth tractor trailer for Precinct Number 1.
What it is, Judge, this, vehicles were vandalized in my yard, that Kenworth tractor, and there's just no way that I can put money in it so I can take it to an auction. So it's just sitting there in the yard, and that trailer also, so I'm gonna have to go out for closed bid so they can come see that they're in the yard and they can get a closed bid and they can bid for it.
Motion, Commissioner Gomez, Mr. Whitehouse. Item 12, Andrew Wyatt, President of U.S. Church Alliance and representing Wilson County residents at their request to consider to take action to propose amendment to the 1998 one exotic snake ordinance.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Again, my name is Andrew Wyatt, and I'm here with the U.S. Horticultural Alliance, representing Jason Royer and horticulturists here in Wilson County at their request. Horticulture, which is kind of an interesting word if you've never been introduced to it before. People are oftentimes, herta what? They don't know what you're talking about. It is the non-traditional agricultural pursuit of basically farming reptiles and amphibians. Can be closely equated to aquaculture, or the farming of fish. And I really appreciate the opportunity you all have given us to submit a proposal for the amendment of the county ordinance. And I'm really here not to do a lot of talking unless you need me to do some talking, and basically here to answer any questions that you might have regarding the proposed amendment. We submitted it earlier, as you know, and got some feedback, and there was a request that we add an additional clause to the proposed amendment. And we have done that, and hopefully it meets with your approval. And so I'm at your service here to answer any questions, if you have any questions about it, and hope that there might be a move to amend the ordinance as proposed.
I got no questions, I mean, that's fine the way it's written down, it says, and they got the clearly labeled inventory of control where that extends, and the permits and everything is there, so. I don't know about the other ones. Paul?
No. Dana, do you need a copy?
I did, and one of the requests that Leanne and I had made was that they, one, be permitted by the state, and two, they provide that to the sheriff's department for dispatch to have a record of. So, I've looked over it and I'm satisfied with it as well.
They also go ahead, fine, posted.
Posted, yes, I got everything.
So then you want to put that on next agenda for approval?
It is.
It's on here for approval.
It's on here.
Mhm.
To consider and take action on the proposed amendment.
Motion, Commissioner Gomez, second. Commissioner Morales, all in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Item 13, Jan Hall, County Treasurer, to still take action on resolution approving redemption of jail bonds.
Eva has a resolution, and it's basically so we can pay off the bonds early. We're gonna pay them off.
Resolution approving bond redemption of jail bonds. Whereas notice is hereby given that Wilson County, Texas, pursuant to the order duly passed and adopted by the county commissioners, has called for the redemption of those outstanding bonds of the county described as follows. Whereas Wilson County, Texas, 2,565,000 limited tax refunding bonds, series 2003, and whereas aggregating 300,000 in principal, amounting outstanding each of the denomination of $5,000 or an integral multiple thereof, and whereas originally scheduled to mature on February 1st, 2014, the redeemed series 2003 bonds, and whereas the 30th day of April 2013 is the date fixed for redemption of the redeemed series 2003 bonds as prescribed in the aforesaid order, and whereas you are hereby notified that such bonds should be presented for redemption at U.S. Bank National Association in Houston, Texas, on or immediately before the redemption date described above. And whereas that the interest of such bonds shall cease to accrue from the and after the redemption date, and whereas on the redemption date of the bonds identified above will become due and payable at a redemption price of par and accrued interest to the redemption date. And whereas this notice is issued and given pursuant to the option of redemptions reserved to the county in the proceedings authorizing the issuance of said redeemed series 2003 bonds, and in accordance with the recitals and provisions of each of said bonds. Now therefore it be resolved that the Commissioners Court of Wilson County, Texas approves the redemption of the jail bonds passed and approved by the Wilson County Commissioners Court on the 25th day of March 2013. Commissioner Gomez, Commissioner White, all in favor? Moving on to item 14, Deanne Oshak, EMC, discuss temporary water line precinct 2. That's
Temporary
all.
water line, they're just.
All of those are just
information
what we
purposes.
And item B is discuss take action on pipeline permit applications. You agree? All three of them. Motion, Commissioner Fowler, second, Commissioner Gomez, all in favor? Item 15, financial report.
I have Marlene Smith was terminated 3/8/2013, Department 420 as a cook. Laura Trinidad on 3/11/2013, a promotion, Department 420, $25 a month, correction officer to corporal. Katie Cox, a promotion, 3/11/2013, Department 420, $25 a month, correction officer to corporal. Patrick Ramsey, a promotion, Department 420, 3/11/2013, $25 a month, correction officer to corporal.
Yeah. For the record, that'd be item 16, first, payroll and personnel changes. Any comments, questions, motion? Commissioner Gomez, Commissioner Riles, all in favor? You don't have a finance report?
Judge, do you
Yes, sir.
want bills before public hearing?
Do what?
You want the bills before the public hearing or after?
Either way, whatever works. I mean, we know what, I thought, Lindsay Thorne was gonna be here, so we probably need to take.
He's here, he's in the hall.
No.
He's in the hall.
I guess just wait after public hearing. I guess just wait after public
Okay,
hearing.
I'll call you back for the public hearing.
Okay, we go back to item 4, public hearing, courthouse, annex 1, 2, 3, updates, comments, and questions.
Everybody signed in.
How about rolling in, which will probably help, if I may, and then rolling, there you go. Morning all. We've had a busy couple of weeks. We went to, we spent most of Friday in Austin. We met with the Texas Startup Commission as well, to see what they had to say, which was interesting. I'll get to that in a moment. And what we've done is we've taken the we've actually overlaid. We've taken what we had, the comments we had last time, we looked at space what we can do. We've been back and forth here quite a bit. We went up and measured the existing furniture and fixed furniture layout at the courthouse. So we've got a pretty good idea. We're looking at trying to implement it, incorporate the new Commissioner's Court bench and how that would work. So we're trying to make the court itself a very flexible court that could always act as a judicial court as well as being a Commissioner's Court for people's needs. So, we'll come over, Jenny. And then so, alright, let's start on the ground floor to start with. So, from the scribbles that we had last time, we looked at locating, seeing where the commission's office is in, and assistant, so we've got, you come in the main entrance into here. We've also looked at having the ability, if you so wish, to put in an x-ray machine here if need be, as you come in. We're looking at the principle of trying to keep the existing courthouse as is, trying to do as little as we can, try to keep this in character, including subdivision of offices. We would actually bring in, we would try to make the offices almost disappear. It'd be segmental and be glass, but you can have privacy, but it doesn't feel like it's impacting on the old form of the courthouse. So we've retained the bottom meeting room downstairs open. This is the area where we're having the most
Commissioner's Court.
Commissioner's Court. And then across over here, then we've got 4 commissioner offices right here, assistant space right here. Across the way, then Jeff, we've got you over here, drawn here, so you've got your old wing right there. Again, retaining all the existing wall configuration that we have, kept the hallways clear, the existing safe that's over here. Then we've got you over here, and then you've got administrative staff over here. You have to remember at least 3 or 4. Coming through here then, and we have again over on this side over here. So we can reconfigure this and which way we want over here now. We've got here offices over here to you. Again, we can have HR over here. That can be rearranged how you so wish. But that puts you over to this location. And then we have connecting hallway down through here then. Elections can happen over in this whole general both sides of the we would then take the existing restrooms, add another reconfigure for ADA, create a restroom block again, which works really well as well for public and for private use. And there's also the stairs to go down to the road up there.
I think we talked about legal elections here, and we really never talked about this space.
Not really, we sort of went back and forth with that, with the election, with it. It's enabled, you could put it in there if you want, or keep it open, or it's just future expansion. So this is sort of the first blush of what we talked about last week. You can really see the square footage we have. And saying these offices here, they're nice size offices that you can sit and visit with someone. And they're also the same size as well.
So there's no walls being knocked down or anything?
We'll put a few up, but we're just working with the. And then this can go to the second floor now over here. So we've been trying to make this connection across, and we think we can make it work. There's some more digging around going on upstairs, what's going on. I think we'd be able to reconfigure this. What we'll try to do is keep the stair configuration that when you come up to the second floor level, we have that stair then that returns and goes back up to the loft arrangement. You know, we have that stair that comes up and goes down to the existing. Remember, there's 2 toilet blocks here, which are wholly inadequate size-wise, and then there's a system of stairs that come up, across, and down. And then there's 2 little rectangles that sit in this space. So you've got a stair, sort of a narrow set of stairs that go up here and down here. And then we have 2 sort of hallways there, and then the restrooms sort of sit like that. And so we're trying to make sure we get that connection across, and you have sort of behind closed doors back to one side of the other, so that we can do that. Apparently it looks like when the AC was put in, I don't think he's going to be used now. So we need to do a little bit more investigating, but I think we can make it happen to get across without changing. This was a blush looking at these will work for ADA. We just need to see the floor sounding, whether we still need to go up and go down. Otherwise, ADA will require us, which again, I don't think is a bad thing, but if you have someone that came up that is accessible, they can come up to the elevator, maybe to go this way or back this way to and from, and then we could probably keep the stair arrangement in between, which I'd rather do that. But we're trying to explore to see what we can do up here, so we don't impact the coming out anymore into that entrance space there.
Right.
But I think we can manage it. Now that we, especially we have these voids here that we since found, I think that doesn't quite more.
Because that's part of the character of the upstairs.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, again, we're trying to keep that going, but it's that weighing up between functionality, what code will allow us to do. But I think if we've got that, and we have private restrooms on the ground floor, I think we'll be fine to do that. So we're doing our code research on that as well. And then that brought, so you've got staff arrangement over here, assistant there, staff here. So this relationship works very well. But then you've also got accessibility, plenty of accessibility through the second floor. And then the connected
Control, I mean, and I was thinking with the meeting room, that would create a space for the judges, commissioners, and people that
It's
come up and need to
flexible one to examine. And of course, we'll have that on the community space as well. And of course, you've got the courtroom here.
One thing that you got all the commissioners here and the judge's office here.
Yep.
And this will be a meeting room. That's a, that room.
Yeah, I think it would be fine. Okay, so again, in the whole of the south, we're looking at trying to retain everything as is, but then coming in and creating almost a commission's bench you could visit like we are here now. But then if it,
Professional model.
exactly, to try to do it so that if it ever needs, you need to use a traditional docket system, you know, it could be flexible enough, and then this would then act as, this table could be moved out, and this could actually act as, council. So, I think it will work well.
If you could, if you could, well, if you could just shift the chairs to the other side.
Oh, that's easy enough to do. Yeah, we literally would just, this would almost be a floating rolling table arrangement, but it could be moved either way to accommodate whatever courts and sessions.
And these on the side that you've got.
We've just taken with reporters, court reporters, David Smith.
Yeah, and those, the court reporters are usually closer to the bench up by the.
There's lots of stuff that,
You gonna leave
in
the
a traditional manner, but again, we need to be a little bit more flexible with the arrangement of how that works.
You're gonna leave the old
Bench.
thing in
We
place?
intend to leave everything in place.
Well, that'll take care of the court reporter and all that.
Because we have.
Court reporter sits right here,
Yeah.
the witness right behind him.
Right, we have
And
that.
this is a clerk
Yeah.
that's here. So that's intact, this intact, all we need. Yeah, actually, if you leave these two here,
Mhm.
you can leave this intact.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to come, doesn't have to be moved. You got your defense or your prosecuting defense
Well,
attorney.
you're gonna have your jury too, though.
Right.
So you wouldn't want anybody's back to the jury, you just have to flip chairs around.
Are you saying that entire table configuration, you can turn it around?
Mhm.
Have-
Turn around, rearrange it. And the good thing is we have this, we have the space back in here as well, that could be how, if you did need it for, if you needed.
Maybe just pull it back and move the chairs.
You straighten it out instead of having the.
Well, I
No,
guess,
the first.
I guess what
It's
Kirkland
nice,
wants
but
people
you
to
just
do,
turn.
if these two of the tables are
Yes,
portable
we
for
will.
the attorneys, this could be fixed.
Yeah.
If
We can do that.
We can, this is high enough, I mean, this is high enough, you can see over here, so you can leave this fixed in place. And I think with the amount for all five of us, it would be pretty cumbersome. We'll have quite a bit of county court.
And that's what we need, that's what we need.
Along with the.
And I think it'll work really well, I just think. we
Just
need-
leave it in place and make these flexible where that is.
I guess we have the auditor and the attorney and the clerk and the treasurer at these.
So we need to make sure that, you know, when we arrange these, it's that, again, that balancing act of what jail standards require, what ADA requires, what, you know, you won't believe the space we need to have, well, you can see on the original ones of the ADA required having to have 5 foot turnaround radius in certain areas. And on plan, it looks great. When you get in the field and once you see particular occupancy, there's issues, there's no, things move around, so they do that.
I assume this is a lecturing for the citizens that want to
If
speak.
need be, yes.
And this we're talking about the upstairs. And this right here, this is actually where they have like a console and all that kind of, whatever.
That's all they- I think that's all
An
they-
area for, that whole,
It's almost like flex
the,
space, too.
the old library, the,
With the
yeah.
Just that little
Oh,
bit.
Okay, cool, okay.
Well, that's next to
Right.
the judge chambers. or-
Yeah,
The original one,
yeah.
yeah, they had, I think they've had.
I mean, it can be
flexion
used
because I
both
think-
ways.
And we I mean,
Well, when you first walked in that door, that was the library, and then that office has always been a judge's chamber. So, yeah, the library was actually that space. when
This
you
area
first
right
walked
here.
in. Yeah.
I wonder why they had such deflection, because that's almost a telltale sign of a dead load that wasn't, when I spoke with them.
It had files in there, they had files along the one wall, so there were files along each of the walls, and then the walls lined that whole, by the bathroom.
And that's what you
Sure, that
Because see, on
holding
that,
cell we use
the
behind
wall,
the
and when you walk in,
judge's bench
there
used
were
to be
books,
the law library.
and then there's opening to the bathroom, and there were books.
Oh,
And then on the other side, there were books that lined both sides, and then in the room were files.
This used to be the law library. Then we moved them out over to here, after, later on, and then we started using it for holdings. And this was district court, county court, everything before. This was the visiting, this now be county court, we have no need for it.
It's really more reflects things that
Yeah,
you wish you wanted to be. And then also lives as, you can have, jury meeting area here, they'll have a unisex area, toilet here, and then one for.
And we may still want to utilize this for holding, county.
That's why we left it that way, so just in case.
Anything else on the courthouse?
What's the number of sheriffs? 50. I think that'd be very adequate, don't you get, no?
County jury found that, I think it's probably an underestimate.
I think you get a few more in there,
We can make the same way we do now, we utilize the jury box, the jury box itself. We hardly have, we can hardly call 60 to 80 for juries.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is this narrower than it currently is?
No.
No, it's the same size, so I
We tried, we kept everything,
would just change the numbers.
Did you move this fence back or
No.
this fence?
No.
Okay, well, yeah, it's
No,
happening.
we're fine.
Yeah, then we should.
If you're not
We're gonna
losing
move these
space, then you'll
benches
be
back.
okay.
We're gonna move these benches back over, and recreate.
I would, these are the best things, you get more guns on seats with these and over chairs anyway.
And we can
And
always
they're
get
historic.
chairs for you.
Yes.
And hours.
So how was the historical commission based on
Pretty much like I expected it to be. It was, so there's two issues looking at it. You, I'm trying to come up with that bird's eye view of the organisation. So I went in a little guided from the, which I explained to you before about previous experience we've had from other jurisdictions and so I went in almost with an open mind to see, okay, what do they have and what were they talking about. It became clear with the takeaway that Janet and I had, and forgive me if I'm wrong, Janet, I'm still playing devil's advocate here, but they'd be happy, I think, for all courthouses in the state of Texas to be visitor centers and visitor centers only. I threw a couple of, some of the old issues with the original, the previous head of the Texas Bar Commission, some of the comments they've made in the past, for example, Sabine was one of the examples, where we were just running up the flagpole, we were trying to make the old courthouse work like the old courthouse. And we were trying to be very sensitive to the architecture of it, even though it's a 30s building. We went to the extent of investigating, put a underground sally port in, so it wouldn't affect the overall aesthetics of the building arrangement. And there was the point where, well, we own everything to the curb. So it's almost like, even if you don't want to touch the building, you can't touch anything on that site type of thing. It was that type of mentality which was a little frustrating. So we said, well, that's what we've had a past history of, and that type of theology. Well, it's clear that all courthouses these days really can't work for a modern courthouse application. I was thinking, we don't understand, I don't understand that, why that's it. And so that's where it became clear that it was sort of, they have their agenda on what they want it to look like. So we took it on next stage, we took these drawings with us, everything above board, we said, listen, this is what we're doing, this is what we're intending to do. And of course, they're pretty fresh in their mind. They were very clear to say that we have a good chance of we're probably in the top 5
Yes.
of obtaining.
Yeah, there's this current round of funding, there's approximately $20 million that they're hoping that is going to be allocated for those.
Is there a budget?
It is. So, the categories they have, and I've got my prescription, but I do have, they have restoration, they have rehabilitation, and then what's the first one in there? It was basically take it back exactly like it was. There's little definitions between the 3. So, of course, they're always looking for a big kahuna. They want us basically, and I went in with basically four categories. If you say you want any one of those 4, all bets are off. For example, the first comment was, well, we'd like to take it back to original brick on next year. And I said, I know we would too, but I explained the process and we took the information there showing how poor the brick was. It's really impractical to do that. And they cited cases where it's been done in the past. I said, okay, great, well, anything's possible, but there's time and budget and money. And so we've moved on past that. So I was trying to find out from them other things they were looking at. Well, one lady just brought the comment, well, can you get rid of the terrazzo? And I said, no. And then they said, well, we then moved on to the addition on the back. And their comment was they would really like us to go to apply for a grant to take it back to the original structure.